I wanted to let everyone know that I was involved in a snowmobile accident Saturday evening. I was riding on the Saginaw Bay with 4 other people, and it was dark out, and we came across open water but were unable to see it until it was too late. The other 4 people I was with made it across, but I was unable to. My sled and I went down in a large area of open water about 1/8 to 1/4 of a mile wide and approximately a mile offshore. We were later told that it had just opened up that day. Because of the weak ice around the open water and how large of an area it was, no one could get anywhere near me.
Help! Help me!
The only communication I had with them is us yelling at each other so that they would know I was still okay. 911 was called, and they were able to triangulate our location through GPS on cell phones. Coast Guard was dispatched to the Bay City on an airboat, but because of the rough ice and snow conditions, they were only able to travel at a slow speed. The only air support is in Detroit and was estimated at a 45-minute travel time. Local fire and rescue arrived very quickly but did not have the equipment needed for a rescue. I was lucky that a man living on shore used his sleds, his ladder, small aluminum boat, and a rope to aid in my rescue. When I first entered the water, I immediately began planning what I was going to do to survive. I wanted to get off anything heavy so it would not pull me underwater. So I took off my helmet and my gloves, and I was working on getting my boots off when I realized that my helmet was floating. So I emptied the water out of it and put the neck opening into the water, trapping the air inside of it. And this was just enough to keep me mostly floating. So I continued to try to get my boots off, and when one came off, it popped to the surface. So I emptied the water out of the boot and trapped the air inside of it and used this as a second flotation device. Later, I did the same thing with my other boot, but by this time, everyone else had made it to solid ice, and I knew I was in trouble. We yelled back and forth for the comfort of knowing that I was still okay, and I wanted to swim to ice, but it was far enough away that I could not even see it. So I started just kicking in the direction of the voices. After some time, I finally located a large body of broken ice chunks, and when I got to them, I was pulled in between some of the pieces. They ranged in size from a couple feet wide to several feet wide. I was able to get to the outside, but I couldn't pull myself up on any. They were smooth as glass, and I had nothing to grip onto. So I kept moving along and finally found one that was snowy and rough. I knew I couldn't pull myself onto it though, because I was too weak at this point. I had lost all use of my hands and had very little use of my arms and legs. I continued to stay next to that piece of ice, and I was forced to make the decision to abandon my boot and my helmet. I had already lost one boot because I could no longer hold on to it, and without it, I would go under. My fingers would not bend and were relatively straight, so I used them as chisels to create holes in the ice so I could slide them in and anchor myself to the ice. Every once in a while, my right hand would slide out of the hole, and I'd use my chin to grab the ice until I could get my fingers back into the hole. By this time, I'd lost my vision due to my body shutting down, and I could only see light but no shapes. So I asked Craig, my friend, to show me a light so I'd know where they were. So Craig used his cell phone so I could see where they were. Eventually, I lost consciousness, and I came to when a man was yelling that he had a rope around me. A firefighter and the man from shore had crossed from ice chunk to get close to me, and they had thrown a rope around me and put a ladder next to me. They needed me to climb on the ladder because they couldn't get to me, so they kept telling me I had to get on the ladder. But it was so painful, I couldn't move. I told them I couldn't. I finally used every last ounce of willpower I had left and made it onto the ladder, and it was so painful I was screaming. From that point on, I was mostly unconscious, and I remember very little and only a piece here and there. I've been told that they used the ladder to slide me across the broken ice. The aluminum boat was pushed over to them and they put me inside and pulled it to where the snowmobiles were sitting. Craig and my friends took their coats off and they covered me up with them and they towed me to the ambulance. About this time is when the air support arrived and I was driven by ambulance to Bay Medical where a team was waiting for me. My core body temperature was down to 88, and I've been told that 86 is when complete body shutdown usually occurs. I had a wonderful team of people who worked on me to get my vitals back up, and then I was transferred to ICU for the night. There was much concern that I would go into cardiac arrest for the severe hypothermia, but luckily that did not happen. My hands are cut and bruised and I broke off most of my nails very low due to digging in the ice. They were extremely sensitive and somewhat painful, but it does not look like I have any frostbite. My arms, chest, and back are bruised from the ice, but other than that, physically, I'm in good condition. I am grateful to the team that saved my life. Without them, I would not be here to tell this story.